Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. I am your host, Charlene, and you're joining me today for episode number 22, Ostara. But first, I always like to grab 3 things I did over the weekend to help with my witchcraft practice. So I had a wonderful experience with the full moon last week. Really amazing. I mentioned my tarot card pull, asking for help with the trip I am actually currently on right now as this airs. A quick refresher. I did a 3-card pull for the situation, the obstacle, and the solution. I got the Queen of Wands for the situation, the World for the obstacle, and the 7 of Cups for the solution. So the 7 of Cups solution told me, basically, pick a lane. That's how I read it. It says, because you have created so many choices, you are finding it hard to commit to a decision, and as a result, you're stuck in place. The 7 of Cups advises you to step back and weigh all of your options. Take the time to evaluate, the pros and the cons of each choice with an eye towards the realistic. It is okay to be a dreamer, but eventually you will need to face reality. So I took the 7 of Cups card and put it on my kitchen windowsill, along with a white candle and a couple of crystals, and place the other 2 cards, which, the Queen of Wands and the World, on the other side of the candle. So I wrote down what lane I was choosing to be in, and I said goodbye to the other options. I folded the paper 3 times, put it under the candle as I said my intentions, and I lit the candle at 9 p.m. and went to bed. I let the candle burn out completely, on its own, and I was abruptly woken up at 12:12 a.m. and took note of the time. This is actually not a time I've ever been woken up at. I've had plenty of, the 2:22 a.m., the 1:11 a.m., and so on, but never have I been woken up at 12:12. So I went back to sleep and had a very lucid dream about the person I'm wanting resolution with. It was set in a city, one I actually didn't recognize, almost like when we were visiting, but I had lost him. So my older son and I were desperately looking for him. There were a bunch of people, almost like there was a festival going on, and it was super, super crowded. So finally, I found him. I ran up and gave him a big hug and just started crying. I knew it was time to be done. The past is over, and we are now on to a new chapter. So that dream was so clear and lucid to me, and the fact that it came right after I was woken up at 12:12, and after I did my, full moon little ritual with my cards and my candles and the stones and crystals, I really, really took that as confirmation that my direction was granted in my dream. The next night, I actually took the piece of paper that I wrote down my intentions on and did another candle spell, this time burning the paper under the full moon and, letting the candle work its magic until it was gone. So I kept my tarot cards next to the candle along with the crystals. Since, things need to be done in sequence of 3s, I did do one more candle burn on the 3rd night. Now, this 3rd night, the moon really started waning, which is a good time to say goodbye to things. So I lit a white candle once again at 9 p.m. and said goodbye to the past and released the spell. My lane has been picked, and I will actively work on making it successful. I did 1 card pull for the trip. The energy I am working on this week is with the reversed 8 of Swords, which says a time of hardship is ending. So the 8 of Swords is all about being caged in and holding limiting beliefs, being powerless due to lack of vision, and kind of like an inability to break out of the cage. But in reverse, which is the card I got, it means you have learned your lessons that will help you manage future challenges. So I'm reading that. Again, this deck is just so amazing to me. Let's see, this would be only the third time I have used the deck. It's a Crow deck, a Crow Tarot deck. I did post a picture on Instagram a while back and on Facebook, so I'll maybe tag it again. It's just incredible. And you guys, I don't know if you can hear my crows right now, but I'm just so drawn to them, and I really do feel connected. So the fact that each time, again, it's only three, each time I have done a card pull with this tarot deck, I just feel it has been so spot on. It gives me chills. It's just amazing. So anyways, with the card upside down, it says I have, or it confirms that I have broken out of the cage of swords that have, previously confined me. I really do feel like this card is perfect for the trip I am on, and that we really are ending a very hard chapter in my family's journey and beginning a new chapter full of wisdom to help us with future challenges. Because we all know life happens. There will always be something we need to work on. So over the weekend, I did a bunch of energy work with the elements as well, using all four to find balance. That is my theme for the entire year. So anytime I can reflect back and work on my goals for 2023 to bring balance to multiple areas of my life, I will be doing so. Now, I do have one episode left on the elements where I will be talking about the element of earth. I'm really excited to wrap up this segment and really excited to have the element of earth be the one that completes it. So let's see, moon this week. As this airs on Wednesday, our beautiful moon is in her last quarter on her descent towards starting over with the dark moon and then the new moon next week. So what does this mean for us right now? Well, last quarter moons and waning moons are all about releasing. It's time to let go. It's about banishing and decreasing things in our life. As the moon seems to kind of be going away, so should the things that no longer serve us. Good spells for this moon cycle are going to be our binding and reversal spells. Don't forget about the power of fire for this one. Write it down and burn it. Weight loss spells are popular during a waning moon. Just know this is a time to release. Okay, I am going to go grab the main topic so we can begin. Okay, let's jump into the celebration of Ostara and the spring equinox. I've got today's episode broken down into three main areas. First is the history of Ostara. Second is working with Ostara and our witchcraft practice. And third is bringing Ostara into our work, office, and jobs. So what is Ostara? It's all about balance, spring, and rebirth. Really, no matter what part of the world was or is celebrating it. Ostara originated in Germany, and both the celebration and the goddess are German. And hey, remember that fire we lit back at Yule, celebrating the sun that would return? And remember the Imbolc fertility of Brigid we talked about? The light that would overtake the dark? Well, it's here. The wheel of the year marks the beginning of spring with Ostara. Ostara is balance. Equinox actually means equal. So the sun is crossing over the equator, which makes our days and our nights equal. It's about beginnings, birth, dawn, and fertility. It's about cleansing, gardening, life, and renewal. Ostara is about saying goodbye to the dark and the night and hello to the light and the day. It's about new beginnings. So the Mayans have been celebrating the spring equinox for over 10 centuries. The Persians celebrate it with a 13-day celebration called Nowruz, which I believe translates to New Day. The Romans celebrated on their Julian calendar with Attis, who died and was resurrected in March. And the Germans, well, this was a time for planting seeds and getting crops started. Some of Ostara's deities will be Athena, Aphrodite, Odin, Osiri, Thor, Adonis. But the main deity is, and hopefully I say this right, Eostri. She is a German goddess of the dawn. Now, it is said that Eostri was out walking and came upon an injured bird. She wanted to save its life, so she transformed the dying bird into a bunny. The bunny, still having the history of being a bird, wanted to lay eggs. Eostri granted the bunny one day each year where it could lay eggs on Ostara. So these special spring eggs were given as an offering to the goddess Eostri for saving its life. Now, our colors for our spring equinox are going to be a bunch of pastels. Think of the soft colors of pink and blue, yellow, purple, green, maybe some cream and some white. Ostara is about plants and flowers. So you're going to look for daffodils, tulips, snowdrops, violets, crocus, daisy, jasmine, lily, and honeysuckle. Our trees for spring are the alder tree, ash, willow, and birch tree. Herbs will be our mint for wish making and healing. It will be lemon balm for cleansing and healing, and dandelions for wishes, hopes, and dreams. Food for Ostara is naturally eggs, but also your green salads, herbs, edible flowers, any of your seedy breads, and of course honey cake in your hot cross buns. Crystals are rose quartz, amethyst, moonstone. Doesn't it seem like moonstone seems to be in just about everything? That and amethyst. So I feel like that's very repetitive in all of my my research. But we also have clear quartz, lapis lazuli, and aquamarine for Ostara. Now, our symbols for Ostara are rabbits and eggs. Those are the main two. But we'll also see bees, butterflies, chickens, ducks, lambs, birds like robins, rams, and goats. So our mythical creatures will be unicorns, Pegasus, and merpeople. So it seems like, Ostara and Easter go pretty much hand in hand. But Ostara predates Christianity by many years and does have a pagan past. Ostara is a specific date or date range of a couple days on our calendar. And the day of Easter, with the Christian holiday, will actually change each year. Easter is calculated as the first Sunday after a full moon occurring after Ostara or our spring equinox happens. So for 2023, Ostara, I believe, is on March 20th or 21st this year. So really the 19th, 20th, and 21st are going to be the Ostara celebration days. The next full moon after that is going to be on Wednesday, the 7th of April. So the Christian Easter holiday will be the Sunday after that, which is on April 12th. So that's how Easter actually gets calculated every year. It is the first Sunday after a full moon occurs after Ostara has happened. So what about working with Ostara in our witchcraft practice? The first thing I have is do a massive spring cleaning. I feel like I do kind of mention that a lot, but really this is it, right? There's no better cliche than spring cleaning. Many of us might have already, been doing little cleaning routines with either new moon phases, or of course we talked about Hecate and doing a cleaning with her dark moon. But spring is famous for cleaning since winter has ended and we are celebrating all things new. We can tie into our cleaning, a true house cleansing as well, and perform some type of ritual for it. A ritual does not need to be elaborate. Just be sure to open your windows if you are doing a cleanse so the old, unstable winter energy moves out. Once you're done with your cleaning and your cleansing, fill your home with flowers and herbs and decorated, colored eggs. If you have spring decorations, now is the time. So for number 2, it's hard to think about spring without thinking of, seedlings and plants. And if you dabble in or actively work with kitchen and herb witchcraft, then this is your time to plan out and start working on things. Even if it's still freezing outside, which it is for many of us, you can start your seeds inside. Ostara is about planting new seeds for your garden, so plan around what you typically need in your spell work. Top witchcraft herbs are probably going to be rosemary, basil, cinnamon, peppermint. lavender, thyme, chamomile, garlic. We mentioned how much we love garlic. Ginger, and cloves. I know there are a bunch, but rosemary is really good for protection. It's definitely our stable herb for protection work. But you can also use peppermint, cinnamon, garlic, basil, mint, or pepper for protection work, along with bay leaves. So if you know what herbs you normally use in your spells, Ostara is the time to plant the seeds and use your intentions when, tucking the seeds into the earth's soil. If you have extra eggshells, I like starting the seeds in a half shell. Use the larger half and use the container the eggs came in to hold them. I fill the eggshell with a special dirt for planting seeds and put my seeds inside it. Once the seedling is big enough, you actually take the eggshell and the seedling together and plant them. You don't take away the eggshell, but take it all and plant it in their new bigger space. If you can, use your own homegrown herbs for your kitchen and witchcraft magic. I really do feel like you'll have specific magical energy that you nurtured and grew to work with. Third, I have nature walks. So if you celebrate and work with the elements, this is a great time to be outside to feel them. Air, hopefully you're not walking into a fire, water and earth. Go on a nature walk to embrace them. It might be hard if you are still in snowy weather, but physically getting outside, no matter what the elements are, will enhance any workings you can be doing with them. While you're on your walk, notice the birds, look at the plants, see the trees, feel the air and the breeze and the earth below you, the water around you. That could be a small dewdrop to maybe a running river. I did read that many witches will actually travel for Ostara and go to places like the Stonehenge in England. But if you can't travel, you can make your own sacred space, or maybe you already have one in your own backyard that you can walk around and be in nature with and pull your energy from. So number 4, protection spells with eggshells. This is a big one, and Ostara is the time for eggs. So if you are not using them as an offering, this is a perfect time to use them in a protection spell for yourself while honoring her. So eggs, of course, symbolize fertility, birth, and spring, and the shell protects all of that. And just as it protects those things, it's a powerful tool in protecting us too. Eggshells can be used in a couple of forms. First, of course, you can ground the shells into a powder. Wash your eggshells out, let them fully dry, and then grind them into a powder. I store mine in a little tiny mason jar. Second, of course, is crushed. Again, wash your eggshells, lightly crush them so they're kind of in like a rustic form, easily identifiable as crushed eggshells. And then third is the, leaving them whole or partial shells. For this one, you'll want to have maybe like a small opening on one end of the eggshell, preferably the top, or half of a shell to work with. Again, you'll want to work with a clean shell, of course. So eggshells can be used for protection in many different ways. Certainly in a casted circle. They can be used in protection jar spells, and the whole shell can be used in place of the jar, which I can say I had the wonderful honor of getting a protection shell in just that manner before going into a court hearing after being attacked. So my friend filled the egg with her herbs and crystals and magic while doing the protection work and closed or sealed it with twine and wax. It was beautiful, and it worked perfectly. Let's see. Okay, so the eggshell powder, really as well as crushed eggshells, can be used to draw sigils as well, to protect your home. You can use them under your front doormat with a protection spell. I did see one thing saying eggshells were previously thought as something the fairies used. So with the Christian movement, eggshells were actually destroyed before they could be used in magic. And speaking of fairies, I forgot to mention eggshells in the garden, especially if you actually do want to attract fairies. Spread the crushed shells throughout your garden. You can create circles with them or even draw out sigils in your garden or backyard with the shells. Fifth, I've got a balance spell. So Ostara is all about balance, and doing spell work to honor that is perfect right now. You can do some candle magic with a black and white candle to, represent both sides. And you, of course, can use pastel colored candles as well to honor Ostara. Now, since dawn is the time of day for Ostara, any of your workings that can be done bright and early as the sun is rising is going to capture all of that energy. Of course, we have the 3 days of spring equinox to do our workings, and really I have read that some take it out as far as 7 days, but the time of day is dawn. That is going to be our magical hour for special spells. All right, now, how do we bring Ostara into our work, office, and jobs? Well, most all of our holidays have standard decorations that go with them, right? And Ostara and Easter are no exception. While the general, theme may be one of Easter, as far as options when you go out shopping, we all really know where the egg-laying bunny comes from. So decorating with bunnies and eggs, bird nests and baskets, flowers, and more flowers is a very reasonable thing to do at the office. And it really won't cause any alarm about being witchy. Of course, we can go back to any of the main items for Ostara. And, to celebrate at the office, this would be wearing pastel colors with your clothing, your jewelry with the stones and crystals, and having plants at our desk with the herbs of the spring season. Now, have an egg decorating afternoon at the office. It can be a little Ostara party at the end with food and drink to honor, the abundance of the season. For food, hot cross buns, baby. This witchy, yummy, dessert-like bundle of deliciousness is the perfect thing to bring into the office to share with everyone. If you made office goals back with in bulk, now really is the time to get them in motion. Look at your New Year resolutions too. Check in with yourself and your corporate goals. How are you coming along with them, and see what needs tweaking? Since Ostara is all about balance, it really is a good time to look at your daily office routine as well and see what is out of balance, and then take the necessary steps to correct it. For me, it's moving. I sit all day long at my desk, and I really do need to bring balance to my day by getting up and walking around the block or something. I can break up my day and balance it out really by moving. For you, maybe it's finding balance by listening to calming music, or maybe it's music to motivate you, or maybe incorporating a breathing technique to regroup throughout the day. I know that's not a lot for bringing Ostara into our work and office, but probably the easiest one definitely is going to be decorating and then hosting like a little Ostara and Easter celebration. All right, well, I was inspired once again by today's topic, so I did set some time aside to write a poem. I'm going to go grab that, and I will be right back. All right, I've got my poem, so here we go. Ostara calls the spring to start as winter fades and falls apart. Our flowers bloom and blackbirds sing, of all Ostara now will bring. Her clever bunny eggs will tell of stories how a songbird fell. To save her from a lonely death, Ostri gave her one more breath. And though her flying ways were gone, a magical gift would come at dawn. Each morning of Ostara's spring, an egg she lay as a gift to bring. So with the spring and Ostara's rise, we say goodbye to our winter ties, as we walk in nature and feel her force, as the wheel spins again without remorse. Ostara calls the spring to start, her seeds and flowers warm our heart. Her little bunny eggs to be is the gift of spring for you and me. Well, that is all I have for you this week. Thank you for joining me today on the celebration of Ostara. I have been getting so many little hints to do an episode about fairies. I just don't think I can wait any longer. So next week, I'm really excited to host a podcast about just that. Till then, though, have an amazing week and weekend, and I will talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.